Hi and welcome to another seasonal yoga practice. In this session we will be drawing our inspiration from the autumn season. So to give you a little overview, the autumn season is informed or governed by the metal element. And as we know, metal is heavy, it's sort of downward pulling, but it's also really malleable and it can change its look without having to change its integrity or its properties. So there's lots that we can take from that into our practice. And the two organs of autumn, so the two organs of the season, are the lungs and the large intestine. So the lungs invite us to, as always in our yoga practice, breathe deep, but also at this time of year to draw in what it is that we need to take with us into the cooler months. And then the large intestine, responsible for removing toxins from the body and allowing us to let go. So we'll be taking those themes into our class, into our session, and also the sort of energy of autumn as everything is now slowing down outside. The leaves are beginning to turn and then they'll make their dance down towards the earth. We're taking all of those themes of surrender, of letting go into this session as well. You will need just one prop with you, a blanket for this session, and as you can see I've sort of rolled it up, so perhaps if you had a small bolster or a blanket, then that would be great. Additionally as well, we will close the practice today with some yin postures. So this time of year we would say that we're gathering yin, so we're not in full yin but we're not out of yang yet, so we're in still travelling, still transitioning from that in between place. So we will do some really nice yin postures towards the end of the sequence, but we'll start just where we are in a seated position, just taking a few moments to drop into the breath and to ground ourselves before we start to move. So coming into a comfortable seat, wherever that might be for you, let your sit bones connect with the earth below and then gently draw and lengthen up through the spine. The chin is parallel with the floor, and then allowing your facial expression to soften. So just finding comfort here, allowing yourself to make little movements so that you can be here for a couple of moments, feeling at ease and like you can focus on your breath. Letting the quiet, soft, subtle breath come in. Notice how it lifts the body and expands the ribs, the chest, and then softens on the exhale. And just noticing the journey of the breath. And bringing your awareness to where the breath is most prominent in your body. So that could be the nose, the throat, the chest, the navel. There's no right or wrong, just simply acknowledging where it is for you that the breath is most noticeable. and letting yourself be with the breath. So being present with your inhale and your exhale. And just for this next moment, we'll let our awareness rest on a mantra to take into our practice. So on the in-breath, I'm drawing inwards, and on the exhale, I'm letting go. I'm drawing inwards, I'm letting go. Keeping that going, and if you find that for you there's maybe a theme, an emotion, perhaps something that resonates in this moment for the purpose of drawing inwards or inviting more of that into your life, something that's pure and serves your highest good, then allowing yourself to be drawn to that as you repeat the mantra and breathe in. And the same on the exhale, if there's something that's a burden, that is heavy, that you'd like to release and to let go of, then doing so on the exhale. And these can be small, subtle things in your life, or perhaps even in your practice, that you want to let go of or to bring in. We'll take one last breath. I'm drawing inwards. I'm letting go. And then blinking the eyes open, we'll take some little movements just to invite the body gently to move again. So turning the palms to face upwards, we'll take a nice big breath in, reaching the arms up, and then exhaling to the heart. Perhaps 4 more of those, and taking steady, slow movement. So really lengthening the breath at this point in the year, and as TCM invites us to, it's a good idea to strengthen the lungs. So we know that upper respiratory infections, colds, coughs are prevalent at this time of year, and by practicing breath work consistently, by making the breath a conscious effort, we can increase our lung capacity. So let's just rest that there. Bring the hands back down onto the knees. The meridian lines as well for the lungs and the large intestine run all along the inside and the outside of the arms. So you can expect some nice chest openers as well through this practice, which will invite us to keep breathing deep and to really draw down into the lungs so that we're getting as much breath in as possible, which will only make us feel amazing. So with your hands down your knees, we're going to take some seated cat-cow, where on the inhale we are lifting the chest, And then on the exhale, we round and tuck. And these movements can be as exaggerated or as subtle as you need. So we're inhaling to lift up, exhaling to round and tuck. And just to bear in mind that one of these sort of themes of autumn is letting go, which brings us back in our yoga practice and back to yoga philosophy and the 8 limbs of yoga, to consider non-attachment and what that means for us. So practicing a parigraha both on and off the mat. So within our asana practice, that non-attachment could be letting go of having to push and strive and, find the deepest place in a pose, and instead to drop into sensation and to accept exactly where we are is where we need to be. And perhaps off the mat, that could lead into lots of different avenues in our lives, maybe lightening the load a little bit in terms of material objects, not placing our worth, our joy in the material things in life, and then instead practicing gratitude for all of the little things. And it may be something different for you, but it's one to take into this season ahead. Let's have another nice big breath here. And then return back to a nice long spine. Let's take the opposite hand to the side of the head, just to open through these wee neck muscles, which often can be a wee bit tight. So breathe in, breathe out. And then we'll switch it round. And come back to centre. So we're going to take the arms out and we'll be doing some movement, I'm saying just, but if you're quite intense and you've been doing it for a wee while, which is to drop into the meridian lines, the energy centres of the lungs and the large intestine. So in the inhale, we're going to bring the thumbs to turn down. So it's almost like you're turning your arms, hands and arms, inside out. And then in the exhale, drawing back. So then the pinkies lift. And then exhale. Lots of nice long breath work. We'll do that one more time. Let's bring the hands back down onto the lap. We'll take the left hand and turn the palm to face up towards the sky. And then we're reaching the arm up and taking your fingers to the shoulder or the base of the neck, so whatever you're more comfortable with. We're then going to take the right hand and reach it up and over to hold the elbow. And just noticing if you can invite your spine to be long and the head to stay nice and upright as you breathe here. And then we'll let that go. The right arm reaches up, fingertips to the shoulder or to the base of the neck, and then your left arm reaching towards the elbow. sit bones stay nice and grounded. You'll feel the stretch here. And then releasing that off and taking some rotation. So we'll inhale to lift as if you're doing backstroke, open up into the shoulders. Once more. And then we'll take it the other way. So we're inhaling, exhale. So now we're doing front stroke. Last one. Good, let's bring the hands in front and we'll come into downward dog to then bring us up to standing. So taking your feet back and just finding your comfortable place in downward dog, spreading the fingers, soften the knees, lengthening through your spine, breathing in and out. We'll then take a breath in and we're going to just walk the feet about halfway up the mat. Fold over the legs, let go a little bit, soften the knees. Take a few breaths here to hang out in Uttanasana. And then softening the knees and rolling up to stand. So really, really slowly bringing yourself all the way up and taking your feet wider than hip width. We're just going to keep a wee bit of a bend in the knees. So you might have a little bit of movement from side to side, maybe shake off the arms nice and loose. Any wee movements that feel good. And the heels are slightly inward and the toes out. We're going to practice some directional breathing. So we know that the lungs are really important at this time of year and breathing deep is always important. But also at this time of year when we're starting to move into the cooler months, the lungs play a really huge role in keeping the body warm and transporting energy through the body, or qi as they would call it in traditional Chinese medicine. So the action of the lungs and which they take in the body, sort of pumping air in and out, transports energy. It gets blood circulating through the body as well. So really important for keeping warm as well. And these nice directional breaths that we're going to do, I'm doing this because this is one of them. This is one of them. And there's a wee bit of coordination as well with the breath that we're going to practice. So just start by grounding through your feet, maybe coming up onto your tiptoes, letting the heels drop down. But these are really lovely practices for energy work and deep breath work as well. So a nice sort of soothing and calm practice for the autumn season. So we'll bring the hands just in front, and the first movement we're going to draw away, and as we draw away, the knees are going to open, we're going to sit down a little bit, and then as we draw in, the hands draw back. Okay? So this will be our exhale, and then our inhale drawing inwards. So we'll keep going, inhaling to draw in, to rise back up. Let's do 2 more. Good. And our next one will be reaching up. So we'll inhale to reach up and the knees will soften. And then exhale to come back. exhaling, palms down. Let's do 3 more. Last one. Beautiful. And then the last one, we will link these all together, is to open up and the knees soften, and then to exhale to come back. Okay. Last one. Good. So we're going to do 3 rounds where we do the 3 different breath works. So coming into position, take a full breath and then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good, another big breath. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then maybe close the eyes. Bring the hands to rest in the upper abdomen. Just feel the heart beat. Sense it in the body. Notice energy floating around the body, that buzz of prana, of chi. And then let's bring the hands to heart. We'll heel toe the feet underneath the hips. So just finding that nice grounded position to be in. And we're going to take a variation of half sun salutation where we start in Utkatasana. So with a breath in, so nice and strong through your feet, soften the knees, reach your arms up. Good, and then as you exhale, hinging forward, taking the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, let go of the head. As you exhale, release the hands down. Either bringing your fingertips to the earth or to your shins, lifting forward, lengthen through the spine, offer space, exhale, soften the knees and fold forward. As you breathe in, bend the knees, sweeping the arms up, returning back to chair pose, Utkatasana, and then exhaling to stand. Good, we'll do it 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale to hinge forward, folding over the legs, the arms reaching back. Interlace the fingers. To exhale, release the hands down to that place that's enough for you Breathing into Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Interlace the fingers. Couple of breaths there. As you exhale, release the hands. Inhale, look forward. Exhale. Breathing back into Utkatasana. Exhale to stand. Lovely. Let's bring ourselves towards the top of the mat if you're not there already. Ground through the feet. We'll take a breath in, hold the right wrist, and taking just a little side body stretch. Coming back to centre, taking hold of the left wrist, and doing that a couple of times from side to side. Once more on each side. And then coming back, roll the shoulders back. Any little intuitive movement that feels right. We're going to step your right foot back and come into warrior two legs. So the right foot is stepping back and opening out to the long edge of your mat. And the left knee then just coming to that comfortable place for you in Virabhadrasana 2. I am rhyming without intending to. So in warrior 2, hips are nice and open to the long edge of the mat. The thighs are externally rotating. The knee is tracking towards the ankle, just to wherever's comfortable. So we don't have to have it here, as long as we're not overshooting like this. So we're looking to have it either just behind or on top of the ankle. We'll float the arms out, so broaden across the chest, expand your wings. Look over your left middle finger. Breathing there. And then turning both palms, we're going to move nice and slowly, inhaling to come up and let the hands reach above the head as the front leg straightens. And then exhaling to come back down into warrior two. So we'll do that 2 more times. Once more. And then gently rising back up. We'll bring the hands to the heart and switching the feet placement around so that your left foot points towards the long edge of the mat and the right foot to the short edge. Lunging into that knee. Just finding, sensing the place for you that is enough, that feels good. And then opening up, taking a few breaths to feel steady and grounded and strong. And then we'll move with the breath. So we're inhaling, exhale. 3 more. 2. Last one. Great. Let's straighten. Can reach the arms up, and we're pivoting back round so that our left foot faces the short edge of the mat, and coming back into our warrior two position. So just find your footing, feel comfortable. And then we're going to turn the right palm to face forward. Take a big breath in and out. And then reaching that arm as if you've got a bow and arrow. So you're inhaling and then exhaling to draw it back as you lift up. We come back. Bring it round, exhale. Good, so we are inhaling round, exhaling to let go what it is that we no longer need. One more breath. And then we'll lift and switch ourselves round to the other side. Good. Take a moment, feel steady. And then turning the left palm, inhaling, and then exhale. As if you're letting yourself release whatever that thing is, whatever that block, that emotion that is outdated, that you no longer need, that doesn't serve you. Once more. And then returning. Let's pivot round, bring the hands to heart. We'll soften the knees, hold onto the hips as we hinge forward. Bringing the hands to touch the mat, the earth, and folding forward. Soften the knees as much as you need. Allowing the shoulders to draw back a touch as the head releases down. We'll then come up onto fingertips, lengthen forwards, and then turning your left foot so that you can move the hands to frame the left foot and stepping back to downward dog. So taking a couple breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. Then bringing the knees down, taking the knees nice and wide, big toes to touch. The sit bones draw back towards your heels. The arms can reach out and the head releases down. Taking around 6 more breaths here. Then we lift the gaze, gently bringing ourselves up. So just walking the hands back, sweeping the legs right, and making sure we have our rolled up blanket to hand as we're going to move into the yin element of this practice. So if yin is a new yoga practice for you, or even just to remind you if you have practiced yin before, a couple of principles of the practice are very much what we were talking about earlier in terms of non-attachment. So it's a more passive practice where we're not attached to anything aesthetic, so we're not trying to reach a goal of being really deep in the pose. Instead, it's all about tuning inwards to the sensation and the experience, and where feels just about right. So finding what I would call your Goldilocks place. So not too much, not too little, it's just enough, that sweet spot where it feels good, you're still able to experience sensation, and we hold for a length of time. So somewhere that you know that you can be for a moment or two, and you'll not have to fidget or move or come out of it because it's too far. So finding that place that's just enough and resolving to be still when you're in the pose. So not having to move, making sure you're supported where you need to be supported as you come into it, and also to just enjoy as well. So enjoy letting go and finding that wee bit of surrender in the practice where you can completely let go and to focus on a nice gentle breath. So perhaps in a vinyasa practice we do a lot more ujjayi breathing, there's a lot of depth in the breath, there's a lot of noise with the breath, with ujjayi breath. You can see I'm just positioning where we want this to be for this pose. And in yin we can just soften the breath a wee bit more, so be a bit gentler with the breath. So I'm using a rolled up blanket, and I'm going to place sort of shoulder blade area on the blanket and then reach the arms back. It's got this really nice openness across the chest. So set yourself up, grab your blanket or your mini bolster if you have one, and we're going to place the shoulder blades here. Oh, feels good already. And hopefully here won't get in the way. Let the legs stretch out. So we're going to be here for a few moments. And what we do in yin is to move beyond the sort of superficial muscles in the body and down into the depths. So into the deeper, denser tissues of the tendons, the ligaments and the joints. And we put stress or pressure on those areas rather than the muscles. So find your way here and then commit to that soft and subtle breath, not having to move and being here for a length of time. And yin at this time of year really does sit really well with the autumn season and the element of metal. So in late summer the element was earth, and in autumn we are just again like we are in our yin practice, we're going beyond the surface, so we're going beneath the earth where we know there's lots of goodness, minerals, metals, little gems to be found, and it ties so well to our yin practice. So finding that downward energy, that magnetic pull of metal to let us surrender into each yin posture. And by stilling the body and the mind, just clearing a pathway, quiet, calm, and sort of brushing away all of the busyness, all of the to-do list, and just coming home to yourself beneath all the layers. And if you find that your mind is a bit chatty at the moment and it's difficult to be present, or finding it challenging to be present, let your awareness be drawn back to that mantra, drawing inwards with my subtle breath. And in the exhale, I'm letting go. Taking another and then gently we bring ourselves up and into a comfortable seat, and just ending or closing our practice with 5 deep yogic breaths. So bringing one hand to the tummy, one to the heart, breathing from navel to throat on the inhale, and then throat to navel on the exhale. Three more. Bringing the hands to heart, we'll take a breath in. So drawing inwards. What are you inviting in? And then exhaling to let go. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Have a great day.